man, certainly a disappointing end to our season, but you certainly got to give Houston a lot of credit, in particular their defensive unit. I thought they ruled the day. They certainly had a reputation for that coming in, and they confirmed it with their performance. And that's just how it goes. We didn't capitalize off of turnovers in the first half. We're +2 and still down by a point at the half, and that's just not a good sign. I was talking to Lisa post halftime, and I was talking about our inability to perform on third down. I thought was significant, and it continued to be into the second half. But you certainly got to give those guys credit. We didn't do enough on possession down ball to get things going, any sort of rhythm or real points and so forth. And I thought that they did a real good job on third down, and we didn't get off enough on defense, and particularly as the game wore on, it became an attrition component of it. And so, it's disappointing, but I'm certainly thankful for this group and their efforts. But it's a disappointing night tonight. Questions?
To the guys.
It's not time for talk. We agreed that we'll meet tomorrow and go from there. But, when you're in this single elimination tournament, man, there's not a whole lot to talk about. You win or you go home.
Mike, there's plenty of reason to believe with it being a home game, coming off the division championship last week, that this playoff game would end differently than the previous three would have had to go on the road. Why didn't it? What was it? Why didn't it manifest that way?
I outlined it in pretty good detail in my opening statement.
What about your side of the ball when it came to trying to stop them running the football and also guarding the receivers beyond Nico?
And again, I outlined it in great detail in my opening statement. We didn't get off enough on third down. Became an attrition component to it as into the second half.
Mike, what do you think led to the issues you guys had converting third downs?
We didn't put our guys in enough position. We didn't make enough plays, and certainly the Houston Texans did.
Mike, what's going into the lack of use of Pat Fryermuth? Throughout the season, was that you didn't get a target until I think late in the third quarter, and maybe even the fourth quarter, especially with the missing of Darnell Washington. When you guys need playmakers, you just has to get involved.
Yeah, when you're not converting on third down, you can pick any one or any specific component of your offensive unit and talk about there not being enough exposure. When you're not winning third downs, you don't get enough snaps to establish the things you desire to, whether it's the featuring of people or the running of the football or any of those things, and certainly points.
Did they do anything different to DK Metcalf from a coverage standpoint? He had 2 catches in the first quarter, then he wasn't targeted again until the fourth quarter.
I think certainly he was targeted prior to then. They get a drop on a significant play there. Again, I'm not going to make excuses. This is not excuse business. We didn't make enough plays, man, and they certainly did.
It seemed like Aaron was pressured a lot. Your offensive line played well down the stretch. Do you feel like this was a step back for them, or is that line just that good?
It certainly was a step back. I respect, obviously, their front and their capabilities and so forth, but we certainly didn't play to our desires today. And it wasn't like they were pressuring a lot. They weren't. That's not their style. They're a 4-man rush group, but it certainly was significant.
What do you make of your defense? They held the Texans in check and kept giving you guys chance after chance, but ultimately, giving up big plays in the end.
It speaks for itself. Again, particularly when you're in this tournament, talk's cheap. It's about what you do and don't do, and certainly as a collective, we didn't do it tonight.
Mike, you mentioned the missed opportunities. Is that something that weighs on a team as you go mentally, especially?
No, I didn't believe that it eroded us, in any way. But certainly, comes a point in time where you got to make plays, and we just didn't do that. But I didn't think it was any collective mental attrition to it. It's just we didn't make plays.
Like, do these moments get any more difficult for you as the years go on?
I don't necessarily compare it to any other moment. It's the here and now, and certainly it's difficult. But that's what we sign up for, and that's the life we live.
How do you approach a decision about your future?
I'm not even in that mindset as I sit here tonight. I'm more in the mindset of what transpired in this stadium and, certainly what we did and didn't do. Not a big picture mentality as I sit here tonight.
You've walked off the field with Cam and Aaron together all season this year. Tonight, you walked off pretty quickly with Aaron behind you. Just kind of what happened there?
What do you mean?
You've walked off with the two of them.
I only walk off the field with those guys on road victories. If you've been paying attention, that's what it is. I walk off the field with those guys on road wins. And so certainly tonight didn't fall into that category.
Mike, the last time you had an offense that scored a touchdown that either tied a game or took the lead in a playoff game was the Dolphins win here back in 2017. What is it that you guys haven't been able to do for years now offensively to impact games?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, man, I'm not in the big picture perspective. I'm just not in that mindset. I don't think about the totality of it. You pour everything that you have into these performances and what goes on tonight. And so, maybe I have a different perspective the next time we get together. But as I sit here tonight, it's just about what transpired in there. I probably couldn't articulate an appropriate answer relative to big picture things.
First home playoff game with fans since like the 17th season. Could you feel that energy early on, and what's the message to the fan base after?
You certainly could, man. It was an awesome environment. I just wish we could have performed better.
Message to the fan base after another disappointing one.
Again, when you don't get it done, words are cheap. It's about what you do or you don't do, and so I appreciate the question, but people talk too much in our business. You either do or you don't.
It's your big picture to ask if you think you have enough of a foundation to make progress for next year.
I always feel optimistic about what we're capable of doing in terms of putting together a group, certainly.
That was Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin's post-game press conference from the Houston Texans game. And that's going to end this live.